Oh, that's not right. Hello, guys. I'm trying to figure out how to use my other... Sorry. Welcome to Office Hours. Now I'm trying to figure out how to use my other camera. Oh, I think I found it. HD Pro webcam. This one's really... Oh, camera. Here it is. Done. Is that going to do it? No, still using my other camera. Oh, this camera's just darker and not as bright. Welcome to those who have just joined me inside Office Hours. Coming in. I'm just going to try and see if there's any way for me to... I'm just going to quickly pull out my webcam and just put it back in one more time, just in case it's something techie, because that's all I know how to do. Pull out, put back in. It's very annoying. Anyway, we might just have to go to the darker version of Grace, because I think I'd have to restart my whole computer, and I don't want to do that because I want to get to work. We can go with this, can't we? I mean, you don't really need to see me. Most of what I do, I sometimes do whiteboard drawing, but I'm just going to try and explain it as best as I can. Girlies, got my hair cut and coloured. About flipping time, right? I'm very excited about this. Is there anywhere else I can do this? No. Done. Save. Yeah, we're just going to have to go with this. Is this okay, guys? Thank you. Looks fine. Good. Thanks, Kate. Yes, I spent a few hours last night while I was trying to madly type out and finish some training for you guys, but we're getting close. So, come on in. Welcome. For those who are in their first office hours, sorry for being so weird and starting it off in such a strange way. Thanks, guys. Stop. Come on in, and I'm here to answer your questions. I'm here for the next, what camera am I looking at? This one here. I'm here for the next 2 hours, and I'm all yours. Now, it's a big water bottle. This is mine. Yes. Thank you, Veronica, for noticing that, and Kate. Oh, yes, a few of us. It lets me get through 2 litres a day, because otherwise I forget to eat and drink because I get too excited about my business. That's a little bit sad, isn't it? I need to get a life. And I'm behind. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. I'm only up to 9 o'clock, and where I live right now, it's 9:30 in the morning, so I need to step that up. Let's get into it. Few things if this is your first office hours session. Firstly, welcome. Secondly, right-hand chat box is where you can ask all of your questions. Should I just quickly throw a light on the subject? Just one light. Pop all your questions into the chat box on the right-hand side. It's private. No. So I just destroying things here. I'm known as Wreck-It Grace. So I'm going to be answering your questions. It is private, so I can see your questions, but no one else can. So don't feel weird about asking questions that you feel might sound a little silly. Let's do this. You can see behind the scenes exactly how a professional studio is set up here, girls. Now I'm just going to blind myself for the next 2 hours. It's going to be great. A little better. Just got a black thing here on the side of the screen. If you sent me a question in advance to the portal as well, can you let me know that in the chat box now? Hi guys, come on in. Welcome, Veronica, your first time. That's very exciting. Let me know in the chat box. Oh, it's all looking quite dead right now. It's not dead. Anyway, on the right-hand side, just say, hey, Grace, I've sent you a question in the portal. And let me know your email address, just in case there's 2 people with the same name, which sometimes happens in these sessions. Let me know your email address that you used when you submitted the question in the portal, and I'll be able to go and find you and answer your question in order. So if you've sent a question in the portal, don't wait for me to answer it. Put it in there now in the chat box, because I'm going to answer the questions in order from first through last. And I can already see the first few in here, so I'm going to get to work. Let me just make sure that most people are in. Got some more people that just arrived. Guys, for the people that just arrived, welcome. Questions in the right-hand chat box. They're private, so I can see them, and I'm going to be answering them from first through to last in order. If you've sent me a question in the portal in advance, put that in there as well now. Just let me know you sent me a question in the portal so that I can keep you in order and make sure that I answer the people who are live here first, and then I'll go to answer the other people that aren't live at the end if I've got time. Okay. Melissa has told me she submitted her question through the portal. So, Melissa, here is your answer. Sort by first name, M. Gotcha. So, okay, so she's been live and she's got her first Facebook ad running. And it's only been running since the weekend. So she's been about 3 days-ish, depending on where she lives. Where are you? Can't see it on this screen. But she's wanting me to have a look at the Facebook stats. She sent me a screenshot. Facebook stats, because she hasn't had a sale yet. Okay, there's a few things. Hold on. And she's given me a... Oh, yes, cool. Yep, I know you, Melissa. Cool. Okay, a couple of things first about your landing page. What I want you to do is make your logo smaller and on the left-hand side in the header up the top. And I want you to add back in that option for people to email you. You just, when you're able to put some contact details on the page, A, Facebook likes you more, and B, humans like you more because there's a chance for them to be able to reach out to you. It just adds a little bit of credibility. So logo smaller in the top left-hand corner so that you can then have on the right-hand side, you can either have call, if some people want people to call them, so they say call us, ... and their phone number, or email us. And some say, you know, got a question, and then put their email in, something like that. So pop that back in up on the top on the right-hand side. Not too big, quite small, so that we can get that header a little bit smaller. That the logo will be smaller, so we can shrink the header a little bit smaller. The other thing is that with the latest ClickFunnels thing they got going on, a bit annoying, the button icons aren't configuring properly from my share funnels or from anyone's share funnels to this new style. So all I want you to do is just go into this page in ClickFunnels, click on the button, go to advanced in the sidebar that pops up on the right-hand side, and under advanced, you will see button icon. And you'll see a little icon selected, a little arrow selected. Can you just click on that and hit the delete the trash button? That will remove one of the arrows because I know you've got two there at the moment and it just looks a little bit spammy. It's not your fault. It's actually the template that's confusing that and putting two arrows instead of one arrow in. So just do that on both of the buttons. Click on it, go to the right-hand side, sidebar, hit advanced, and then under icon, a button icon or something like that, just delete the button icon that's in there and you'll see your page. You'll just have one arrow on your button. The other thing that Facebook really needs to see are your terms and conditions and your privacy policy. So if you don't have that on a website, or your website's not quite finished yet, just build a page in ClickFunnels that's set up, that's got privacy policy on one and terms and conditions on the other. Because I like to see that in the footer. So if we can do that as well. Now, let's have a look at the screenshot you sent me. So that apart from that, hold on one second. Cool. Awesome. Now, in terms of the, sorry guys, I know it's boring when I'm reading something. In terms of the screenshot. So, so it's saying you've got 6 results. Are we talking 6 conversions? If you've got 6 emails and they're spending, and they're costing you $5 an email, little bit expensive, but not a deal breaker. So if you have a look at my numbers, I was doing some of this kind of stuff in Facebook Advanced on the weekend for kind of that next level up of people that are wanting more training on Facebook. Let me just make sure that my reflections aren't horrific. You can't even see that. Now you can. Okay, so you can't see this clearly, but basically, oh, it's because I've rubbed some of it off. Where's my pen? Not that you can really see it much better. A little bit. So we're going from the Facebook ad to your lead magnet and to the next offer. Now, you're saying that you haven't sold anything yet. So that will be to do with the next page, which I can't see. You haven't sent me a link for the next page. The sale, I'm guessing, in the next steps will be on this page. So I can't give you any feedback on the sale because I'm not 100% sure right now at this moment. I feel like you've sent it through to me before. No, maybe you haven't. Maybe I've only seen the landing page. Anyway, there's a few reasons as to why that will be taking place. But the biggest thing I want to do up front is make sure we've got an ad that's working and make sure that we're able to capture emails and start building a community on Facebook. They're my two first steps. Because if you don't have those two, there's no point in thinking about making money. We need to first be able to get people to click on your ad and then secondly, trust you enough to start that conversation with an email. Once we've got those two humming and we feel like that's at a reasonable price point that we can justify, that's when we get to then look at the next step and we'll start working on the sale and find out any things that need to be changed or improved on the next page. So these two pages are first. Now, the fact that you've got people that are clicking and coming through and giving you an email address, the biggest thing you need to know to be able to have confidence when you're advertising on Facebook is knowing how much you're willing to pay for an email address and for a customer. So knowing how much you're willing to pay for an email address, have a think about this. Let's say in your case, in this scenario, I'm just going to put this over here. The first thing I need you to do is have a think about when you've got a great client on board in your community, what is the average lifetime spend of those guys? And if you're in brand new startup stage, and have a think about what your 30-day kind of spend usually is for those guys. How much does someone spend with you when they become a loyal raving fan on average? What's the average? So for me, for example, I was going from, if I think about my webinar funnel, I'm going from an email address and then they go into a webinar. There's a few steps actually going into the webinar, or like seeing a thank you page and watching the webinar. But my product ends up being $997 is the kind of the main product that I sell. And I've got other products that I sell, but this is the main kind of core product. So let's run some products on this $997 offer. I normally do some scenarios because I want to figure out how much I'm able to spend on a lead, 1, to break even, and then 2, to make the profit that I want to make. I'll try and figure out those two numbers. So for me, if I was in your scenario, and I think your results from what I'm seeing here, if you've set up your pixel correctly, you're spending, it's basically $5.50, right? You're spending $5.50 to get people to put in an email on this page. So $5.50 to get an email, right? Actually, I'm going to go the other way around. Hold that thought. Let's go from that point of view of me just sending a whole heap of emails through this funnel and figuring out what I'll make on the other end, and then we're going to work our way backwards. So let's say we send 1,000 people right through this funnel. We send a number of people through this funnel, and we get 1,000 people to give you an email address, right? So 1,000 emails. Let's say that your offer then converts at, for example, my offer. If I send 1,000 people, I usually, because mine's a higher price point, because it's a webinar funnel, I'll usually up front make about 10 sales out of those 1,000. So I've got 10 sales, and those 10 sales are $997 each. So I've made $9,970. Is that right? Yeah. 1,000 emails equals 10 sales, which equals $9,970. Let's divide the money that we've just made from those 1,000 emails that we've captured. Let's divide those by the emails to figure out exactly how much an email is worth to us. So if I've just made 10 grand out of that funnel and I've got 1,000 emails, basically every time I get an email, in essence, I've made $9.97. Does that make sense? Right? So $9.97 emails, and I'll be able to, every email that I get will generate me in revenue $9.97. So if I were to be paying $10 for an email, this funnel would break even based on these numbers. If I felt like out of 1,000 emails, I could close $10,000 sales, then as a result, if I was willing to pay $10 an email, I'd break even. I'd like to do more than break even. I'd like to make profit. And you've got to think then about what your cost structure is. If you're a pure online business, your cost structure is really small. If you're doing like a service-based business or you've got physical product, there's cost structures involved in a different rate. But for me, you know, I'd be willing to spend, in my case, I'd be willing to spend $5 on an email, right? If I'm revenuing $10, I'd be willing to spend $5 on an email, because I know in that case, to get 1,000 emails, it would cost me $5,000 and I'd have made 10. Spend 5, make 10. That means I can then spend 50, make 100. That means I can then spend 50,000, make 100,000, right? That's kind of the numbers that I'm working on. And for me, being able to spend $1 and make 2, I can make great money out of that. I've just got to scale it now, right? So that could be your scenario. But keep in mind that this number here should hopefully be more than just one product, right? For me, let's say that I then have, you know, of these people that are buying $1,000 product, let's say I've also got a $5,000 product. I don't. I've got like a different value ladder. I've got like 9 or 10 different price points on my value ladder, but just a good example. Say you have a $5,000 private client, right, that works with you for 6 months and you end up getting a $5,000 private client. $5,000, let's say 10% of these guys take you up on your, like 1 out of every 10 of the people that buy your $1,000 end up taking up on your $5,000 offer. So adding that $5,000 sale brings this number, I'm just going to round it off, to $15,000. As a result, your revenue from each email ends up being $15 per email. So you're spending $5 and making 15. You're spending $1 and making 3. Another fantastic formula that you can continue to do until the cows come home. A big bottom product and a pretty high price product or service, which some people have, which is great because they're in a real premium market, to make that work. But usually if I can get $5 emails, you'll see in a funnel like this, it's not really the issue of getting affordable emails. A lot of people, as you've seen, you in your first 3 days are getting $5 emails without any like tweaking or improvement on that funnel. Getting $5 emails is okay. It's more around the value and the price points of people's funnel where I see the biggest problem. Because if you're getting $5 emails and the only product you've got is a $37 course, like, you can't make money from that. That's not a business, right? You need to be looking at the ways that your value ladder is laid out, which is why I like to do the value ladder pretty early on, so that you're increasing the average customer lifetime spend, right? The average amount that a great customer will spend with you over a lifetime, over the first, 12 months, whatever that looks like for you. So if your average customer spend is $100, it's really hard to pay for advertising for that. You're going to have to go back to relying on word of mouth and referrals and like all those lame things. But if your average customer order value can be increased to something like $1,000, that's where you start to get money to play with. That's where you start to be able to confidently spend on Facebook because you're confident about the return on Facebook. Does that make sense, guys? So that's one of the biggest things with numbers. You can see that these numbers, a lot of my girls can get to quite easily. It's this offer and the value ladder that sits behind that, and also recognizing that if they break even on the first few sales, like that's a good thing. If you're able to have a funnel where you're spending money and the first offer might be, I don't know, 37 or 97 or something like that, and that first offer helps you to at least close to break even, awesome. You just built a community for free. And now you get to promote your other products and services. The issue that I see is where people are relying on $37 or $97 courses to actually make them profit. And that's where I'm like, no, that'll help to cover all of your costs. That's not where you're going to see the profit, right? We need to be able to see profit in the business model, and significant profit, so that we've actually got room to breathe and play with. Does that make sense, guys? Tend to find the email's not the issue. I tend to find it's the actual offer and the value ladder and the way people are working through that. Your funnel will let them take the first 1 or 2 financial steps towards you, but then you don't stop there. You're able to do emails out to your community. You're able to offer them private consults so you can upsell things to them. You're able to continue to communicate and increase that lifetime spend. It's about the upsells in the funnel, but it's also about recognizing that once they're in, there's so many opportunities for growth. So for you, Melissa, I mean, if you're getting 6 emails and you've spent $30, I'd actually be pretty cool with that. I'd continue to look at my ad sets and try different demographics. If you've been doing your training like my training, hold on. Let me just make sure that was on the. Yeah, make sure you're just following my training in the portal. Make sure that you've got 6, 7, 8 ad sets that you've tested, even more, so that you're finding the cheapest ones, because a lot of my girls can get emails under $5. A lot of them are like $3 or less sometimes. But I'm fine to go up to $5. It's all about having a strong business, a stable business where you're increasing the average lifetime spend of the customer. Charmaine, your question. I hope that helps a bit, Melissa, in figuring out your next step and where your time needs to be dedicated. A lot of people, their time needs to be dedicated to developing a stronger value ladder in their business. This is really annoying me, this light. Sorry, for those that have just joined me, I've got a problem with my webcam, so I'm using my old webcam and it's not very good. Hope you can kind of see me enough. Charmaine, your question, you've told me, is in the portal. Cool. No worries. Yes, so Charmaine, Charmaine's got 2 questions here. She's wondering a little bit more about LinkedIn training, because she's selling to job seekers and she's in quite a corporate space, and she sees that being a great opportunity. And she says she's finding marketing success with LinkedIn. So that's great. So you'll see some LinkedIn training under the paid traffic module inside the Doing Academy. You'll find in there a paid traffic module where I've got some training on LinkedIn. So definitely check that out. Have a look at how I recommend you do LinkedIn training. Play around with that a little bit. I don't profess LinkedIn training, or I'm not a huge supporter of LinkedIn training, because even in high-end B2B, high-end corporates, $100,000 contracts, I've never been able to make LinkedIn more affordable or scalable than Facebook. Facebook's always been better. Even in heavy B2B, you're still trying to sell humans, and they spend more time and are more engaged on Facebook than they are on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, the ad platform, the demographics are nowhere near what Facebook is, obviously, and the cost of the campaigns tends to be a lot more expensive than if you do Facebook well. So definitely got some LinkedIn training in there, because it works really well if you're in high-end B2B. You don't need a huge volume of clients, and you're looking at kind of selling things that are sort of $5,000 to $10,000 plus. If you're looking at those high-end contracts and you're looking at, you're not looking at volume, but you're rather looking at big wins and big contracts, then LinkedIn is a space. You've got to be a lot more manual, and that relationship takes longer to build, but LinkedIn ads do serve a purpose in those kinds of industries. Everyone else spends, all other scenarios, they're spending more time on Facebook, and it's cheaper and much more targeted to be able to get in front of the right people. So I hope that helps. Jump into the paid traffic section. So I've got some more LinkedIn training there. She's also wondering, she saw that I recently conducted a live online training for members and wanted some tips on that. So there's a little simple bit of how to do that in module 12 inside the Doing Academy. There's a little mini training on my learnings and discoveries inside the online workshop. I've also got this first doing kit. You've probably heard of the Doers Inner Circle. It's not officially launched yet, but I've been welcoming in the first members inside my Inner Circle, which is my tight, intimate group of entrepreneurs I'm working with that are in coaching, consulting, personal brands, or professional services. So inside the Inner Circle, I'm actually doing a full intensive and running a face-to-face weekend, and also doing a full intensive on how to do online workshops. So that's where I'm kind of I've got the deeper, more advanced training. That's a paid mastermind, like a paid Inner Circle program. But if you want more on that, can you send us through an email, and we'll fill you in all the details and be able to chat with you to see whether that's a good fit for you and your business. So you can just email us at ask@thedoingacademy.com. If you want more information on the Inner Circle, where I'm sharing sort of the behind the scenes of the most critical things that I'm doing in my business as well. Yeah, online workshops I definitely see as being having a place in your business compared to face-to-face, and I'll be checking out module 12 if you want more and you want more advanced and you want all of my done for you bits and pieces. Is the best way to do it. And I can give you more on that inside the inner circle if you want to go deeper. Okay, next question. Oh, crap. That's a concern. Just got to put lots of like vouchers for a family. Just put heaps of vouchers for a family that we're supporting into their, like, lots of Coles and Myer vouchers and into their post box, and they've just told me that it's not there. I'm like, we've put them into the wrong one. Whoops, I need to go and fix that as soon as I can. Someone else is going to be getting a lot of money in their mailbox. Crap. Anyway, next question is from Kate. Awesome. Kate was submitting a question about her pricing structure. This is something that I love helping with. Okay. So she's doing a self-liquidating funnel, and self-liquidating funnels work really well. They work best if you've already got a brand or a presence online, or you've got, like, some great social proof, some testimonials. Self-liquidating offers allow people to take small financial steps towards you online with online programs, but they're very automated, which is good as a business owner, but the downside is that you are removing quite a bit of the human element from that process. So they're not as powerful as online workshops or face-to-face workshops or doing private consults with people. They're harder to get to work. So I usually recommend that you start with face-to-face workshops, so you start with online consults, so you start with webinars or things like that to be able to build a deeper relationship with people before you ask them for heaps of financial, commitment, because getting a credit card online is one of the hardest things to do. I show you how to do that, but if you don't know your market incredibly well and you're in startup stage, I usually recommend starting with a different model, because otherwise, you're kind of putting up courses and saying, buy from me. Once you give me your credit card, I'll give you some stuff. You've got no reason to trust me because there's no social proof and you've never heard of me before. And I don't have a huge amount of authority, but can I have your credit card? It's a bit of a stretch. So that's the only thing with self-liquidating funnels. They're best for people that already have a brand presence in play. So she's doing one for yoga. Okay, and this is her mini course that she spelled out to me. Cool. Okay, so here's the way that I often do. She's wondering about price points. Here's the way that I'll often do self-liquidating funnels. I usually test it first at a low price point to make sure that it's not money that's holding them back. If I know that I can get it to work at a low price point, that usually means I've got a lot of the messaging correct. If I can't get it to work at a low price point, I'm like, I've totally missed the mark here. I'm not giving them what they really, really want. So normally I'll go from a Facebook ad to the lead magnet, and that's free, where they put their email address in. The next offer that they'll see will normally be the $37 price point, but sometimes I'll start that at $17 or even sometimes $7. I'll start that a little bit lower just to make sure that it's not price that's ruling people out, make sure it's actually working. If people aren't willing to part with $7 for your program, you've explained it wrong, you're not selling it right, you're not adding enough value or desire for them to purchase. So you're not giving them what they really, really want if they're not willing to part with $7. So then I know that if they're willing to part with $7, I'm like, cool, I'll bump it up to 17. Yep, that's working, cool. I'll bump it up to 37 to get it up to that price point. Then the next offer is usually somewhere between 97 to 197. And then the next offer I try and sit around 297. But if you're wanting to build up trust and build up connection with people and you don't have a big following online and all that social proof that you are an expert and you're worth paying, and that other people trust you, then you've got to pack a lot of value into that 197, that 297, that 97 or 197 and the $297 product. And yeah, you got to make sure that there's enough human in these elements too, guys. Because if you're new to market and you're wanting them to trust you with a card, it's opening yourself up to people not being able to have faith in you or being a little bit wary of you if you're removing all human elements. So whilst long term we want to be super automated and be super scalable and as passive as we can, up front you might need to, throw in a half-hour mentoring session, or you might want to throw in something that's a little bit more human related, or access to a Q&A call or an online workshop where they can follow along with you live, or something like that, so that they know that they're going to be connecting with a human and they can get to know, like, and trust you in that environment. Yeah, so that's the way I was thinking in your space. And yeah, you're totally right. The next course could be 97 and then raise up to 197. But the biggest thing is you've got to be able to show, particularly with something like yoga, that perceived value isn't high. Even though the true value actually is, the perceived value in the client's mind isn't really high. And if you look in your space, the biggest thing I want you to do first is make sure that someone else has validated this idea, so that you don't have to waste money and time, too much money and time doing that. So if there's no one else that you can find anywhere on the market who's got a similar program at a similar price point, it's probably proof that people either aren't willing to pay for it or don't need it, right? So you've got to make sure that you can find someone else who's got a similar price point or a similar kind of model. You're not going to copy them, but someone else in the world has to have validated that this works for me to want to invest time and money into doing that. Being first to market and trying to convince people that what you've got is worth it is a very, very expensive and time-consuming thing to do. So keep that in mind. And I'd be finding other people, just be doing your Googling and your research online to find other people in your space who are doing this well and checking out their pricing. That's one of the best ways to validate it. What I want you to do too is make sure that you're jumping into the module 2 of the Doing Academy and checking out the validation documents in there, right? Check out the doers validation, particularly as you're creating the content, so that you can validate the whole concept and the price points and all that kind of thing as well. Because I can tell you, but the best way is to check what the market's already paying and to actually talk to the market and ask them. So you'll see how to do that in the doers validation checklist. Next question, I hope that helps, Kate. Next question is from Andrea. Andrea's question, let me get into it here. Oh, hi, it's this Andrea. Okay, so she's working on a new website. She has all her services listed. She's in the architect / construction / design / she's got like a beautiful space. She's supposed to be focusing more on interior design, but she has to be like a kick-ass carpenter and builder basically as well. So she does both at the moment. So cool. So here's what I want you to do. On her product section, she's got an area where people can purchase the kitchen cabinets that she sells, because she's got beautiful designs there. And she was saying that she was talking to Adam, and he was saying to put a request a quote button up. How should I approach this is what she's saying. So on that page, you can go into ClickFunnels and create a click pop, which is what you're saying. So you create a new funnel in ClickFunnels. I wonder if I can just quickly share my screen with you. Oh, yeah, no, I think this works. Turn screen share on. And I also want to encourage, there's a couple of different options, probably in your case, typeform.com, typeform.com. So actually, I'll go back. Okay, so in ClickFunnels, I want you to hit Add New, collect emails, and call it Kitchen Cabinet Pop-Up. Okay. Inside here, I want on the first opt-in page, you to choose Click Pop. Choose one that works. I like to keep this relatively simple, to be honest. I usually use the first basic Click Pop.
Gosh, I've got so many new ones these days. Yeah. I use the basic ClickPop select. And into this, I will make it my own colors, really important. I'll jump in and hit edit page. So I'll tweak all of the colors, and then I'll make sure on this page that I'm capturing first name, last name, email, phone. So first one will be first name. Next one will be last name. Email, and last one will be phone. And whenever I'm doing my opt-in forms, I will usually make sure that I've got, what am I in? Phone. Yeah, little icons as well. It just subconsciously, you know how many forms people are filling out every flipping day, right, online? It just subconsciously directs them as to what they're putting in. You know how sometimes you fill out a form and it's just not intuitive, and you've put name in the email field and then it doesn't accept it, and just, you know, these little subliminal icons usually help in subconsciously helping people move through the form quicker, which is what we want to do. Once you've tweaked all of that, we hit save. We make sure that under integrations, kitchen inquiry, whatever, change all of this, right? You know that you need to change that. Integrations, and I'll hook it up to MailChimp, Infusionsoft, whatever it is that you use inside. And I'd feed those into kitchen inquiry kind of nurture. The first email I'd have in there would say, hey, thanks so much for your inquiry. I'm going to get in touch with you on the phone number you provided. I'm going to try and reach out. In the meantime, if you've got any questions, just hit reply to this email and I'll be able to help out. But looking forward to chatting with you really soon, something like that. And maybe I'd put a little video in so that I'm pre-framing them. They get to know me, who I am. Then what you need to do is just change your URLs. So click here and here to change your URLs. I'm just doing a quick training because I know that Andrea's in on this and she's spending time in this, but there's more training on this inside the program. And then under settings, not settings, go back. Under publishing, I would scroll down, get a ClickPop code. And I would get a code. Now, I would probably create a button. So you've got to tell ClickFunnels what you want to link. Do you just want a text link in your page somewhere, a text link, and they click on that text link and the pop-up appears? Or do you want an actual image that they can click on, like a button or something like that? I normally like buttons. And there's a button creator online called The Button Factory. Not even joking. It's called The Button Factory. It's pretty flippin' ugly, but I kind of like this one to play around with. Just really simple buttons, not overdoing it. Or if you've got buttons on your website already, or your template, you've got buttons, then just grab one of those and screenshot it. I don't know, I'll just kind of like play around with this a little bit. Text shadow, yes. Maybe a bit deeper, and maybe like request a quote. Oops, something like that maybe. Kind of looks okay. I don't know. Whatever you want to have. Maybe it's going to be Open Sans. I don't know. Maybe that looks good. You hit download. Now you got that button. And so then you can upload this button at any point. Custom image. Choose an image. Oh no, upload an image. Download. Where is it? Button request. Open. And you can load that up. And there it is. That's the link, right? And so all you have to do is just copy and paste that into wherever you want that on your website. You don't need to know how to code, you just need to know how to copy and paste. Just paste that wherever you want on your website, if it's on the sidebar, if it's in the main body of the text, wherever you want it. You could create a banner and link a banner instead of a button, however you want to do it. You could do both, doesn't matter. So you just copy that and paste it on the page. So that's your opt-in. Now, have a think about what you want them to see next. Most of my girls in your kind of situation that are in this services or very high value or customized product space just want to get on the phone and have a chat. They just want to get all these inquiries so that they can start picking up the phone and having those custom chats with people. So they just literally have a thank you page. They'd often have a video on this thank you page, but just getting a pretty simple thank you page and saying, Thanks so much, I'll be in touch, blah, blah. Click here to, continue to browse the kitchen cabinet created in my portfolio or something like that, and just send them back to the website for a browse while they wait for you to call. Of course, the email goes into their inbox as well once they've filled out this opt-in, so they're all good to go. Alternatively, if you really want to do booking or calendar reservations, I personally don't think you need to in your space. You've got two more options you could do. You could either ask people to fill out a form so that you can get more details about exactly what they're after before you chat. In your case, I think this is overkill and asking for too much information for this kind of industry. But you could do that. You'll see that you can use forms as an example. That's weird. Is this like, can I play around with this? What? That's so weird. Can you kind of see on the right-hand side there? How would you rate your reaction or things like that? Or over here on the left-hand side on the phone, the instructor was helpful. The instructor, you can do all those kinds of different forms here. You'll see that I use type forms for my portal questions as they're submitted. So people can upload things they like the look of, all that kind of thing. I feel like that's a little bit of overkill because often people in your space are just browsing, trying to get as many quotes together as they can. They just, want to get on the phone as quickly as possible. So I'd be just picking up the phone and having a call, and I'd be sending people straight to a thank you page with a cool pre-framing video so they're excited to have a chat with me. You could, however, add another step in between and put a type form on there, which you can embed. You can set up the look and feel of the page on ClickFunnels and just embed the type form into the middle. Your other option is you could do a calendar booking system. So Calendly, calendar with an LY, so Calendly, Timely, are two of my favorites, 10 to 8, so 10to8.com, 10to8.com. So Calendly, Timely, or 10 to 8 are all really good online booking tools. You can put that on a separate page before or after, probably before the application form or the kind of quote request form if you wanted to have a more detailed one in type form. I personally think that's overkill, Andrea. In your case, if I were you, I'd keep it really simple. First name, last name, email, phone, and a pop-up, and they get taken through to a thank you page and sent back to the website. You've then got the phone number, and you should be trying within business hours. Try and call them within 2 hours of their inquiry. Otherwise, if it's after hours, first thing in the morning. Leave your voicemail and continue to follow up for anyone that you don't get. I hope that helps, Andrea. Back to my camera.
The whole time and you couldn't see anything that I was doing, could you? Probably not. That was dumb. Anyway, I think that helps to answer your question. That's the way that I build that particular funnel. Okay, next question is from Sarah. Just working on a value ladder for our training company, but I feel like it doesn't flow properly. I'm building a resource library, which could be free or a very small amount. If it was only a resource library, it would have to be free. You have to have more than that to be able to charge money online. So you'd want a resource library with a support group or online weekly calls or something like that. It would have to be more of a program than just a resource library because a lot of those things are online for free, right? Which I think is what you're planning to do anyway. And then she wants to have food. It's not too late to submit a question, people that are asking. She wants to have food safety workshops for $170. Okay, so you can do those. Just double check my workshop training in module 8 to see how I do my workshops and how they flow. But you could do a $170 workshop. It's just obviously not. That wouldn't be a lead generation tool. It would be very, have a think about whether you want to do them at a price point like that or whether you want to do them at a lower price point to actually sell your programs. If you've got higher price programs that you're wanting to sell, like courses, and I would be doing them at the $50 or less mark to be able to fill the room easier, still get quality because they're paying, but fill the room and then be able to sell your higher programs. If you're pricing it at $170, your programs are like, your workshops are basically trying to be profit centers, but $170 isn't enough to generate enough profit. So in my scenario, your workshops are either lead gen events where you're trying to, build up that trust and sell them the next opportunity. So it's $50 or less. Or They are actual products. Your workshops are actual products that people can buy. And if you're going to be doing a face-to-face workshop, they need to be like, a few $100s plus. It's that that workshop to me feels in between. But if you've seen someone in your space do this really well and fill this really profitably and make great money from this, then have a look at what they're doing and how they're doing it differently. But in my experience in a lot of spaces, they're kind of your two options. Yeah, you have like $20,000 courses. Or you have $55 courses. Yeah. So you'd be wanting to sell your high-end courses if you were taking the time to do face-to-face workshops at the lower price point. Otherwise, I'd put the price up a little bit and it'll just end up becoming a job kind of if you're 170s. Like it'll be expensive to fill 170s, more expensive to fill $170 events, and it will end up becoming a job because you're kind of just still trading time for money in that essence, compared to being able to either be paid really well for that face-to-face time or use that to sell something else. Be more about volume in those workshops. For you, you know what I'd be doing, Sarah, if I was jumping into this business? I would absolutely be doing face-to-face workshops, 100%. And I'd be adding amazing value over 4 hours, and I'd be doing it at a lower price point with a lower commitment. Or I may even do it free. I'm not saying you can't do free workshops. And in your space, in this kind of education RTO space, free could make sense. I'd probably test both. I'd do free, I'd do paid. Free just ends up costing you more up front, but you can often fill the room a little bit more, and therefore you just have to be able to have the cash to be able to fill that event, pay to fill that event without getting the income back as quickly as you can if you do my normal workshop strategy. So check out Module 8, have a look at the workshop strategy that I apply, decide whether you're going to do free or paid, and I would use those as lead generators. So I get as many of your ideal clients in the room, provide amazing value over those 4 hours, and then show them what the next step is, show them your range of courses. And if they're your ideal client, which because of your Facebook advertising and the emails that you've been sending them before the workshop, they should be your ideal client and really pre-framed and pre-qualified, then you're just marrying them up to your product and service. You don't have to sell hard. You still have to have a sales-focused presentation, but you don't have to stress or freak out about sleazy sales or pitching really hard, because you've got your ideal client in the room, you've provided heaps of value, they trust you and respect you, and you then show them the next step. The ones that are your ideal client will kind of marry up to that and want to take advantage of it. So, Gentry, you're next. So that's the way that I would be approaching that business model for me personally. If you didn't want to do face-to-face workshops and you're wanting to extend further online, I would probably either do an online workshop or a webinar. I'd probably just do a webinar. I don't think the online workshop will be necessary in your space. I'm just thinking of your clients, right? Your potential customers or students and why they're studying and what they want from you. I think it's either a face-to-face workshop or face-to-face workshop / information session, or it's a online webinar, right? Just because you're at the higher price point, you need to be able to build up that trust. You need to be able to do a whole heap of education around the values and the benefits, the kinds of training that you're offering, get them on board, get them to know, like, and trust you. And then at the end of the webinar, invite them to apply for one of your courses and have a discovery call with one of your consultants. So, and I'd probably do a similar kind of thing at the workshop. Face-to-face workshop, I'd be inviting them to do to book in a discovery call, so that in that one-on-one environment, you can decide whether they're best for one of your courses at $300 or whether they're best for one of your courses at $20,000, right? Because you've got that big range. That's the way that I'd be doing it: face-to-face workshops or webinars, and I'd probably test them both. Next question is from Gentry. Let me find yours, Gentry. Hey, Savannah, you've got a question as well. You haven't mentioned it, but I've just seen it, so I'll ask because I know you're online. I'll answer it. Oh, Gentry, yours not in here. Let me just double check. Maybe you put it into the Where is it? Click. Maybe put it into coaching call accidentally. Let me just check. Sort by first name. No, it hasn't come through, Gentry. Did you definitely press submit? Because I haven't got it. If it was from last week, I would have, if it was before this time last week, I would have answered it separately. Yeah, but it's not right here, right now. Not in the portal. Can you either just resubmit it in the portal and let me know in the chat, or just literally pop your question into the chat if that's easier, and I'll be able to answer it that way. So, Savenya, your question. Just going to download your screenshot. She's asking a question. Yes, totally. So let me explain in a little bit more detail. I'm going to share my screen with you one more time. Share. I just did some really good training on this as well. She's wanting to know about the setting up the domain, the URL, right, for your URL, for your ClickFunnels page. So when you hit here on the cogwheel, this is where you can set up your first domain. And the funnel step name, she's just wondering what these three things mean. The funnel step name is just what internally appears in your funnel steps here on the left-hand side. So if you've got like 6 or 7 funnel steps, you might want to sort these out so that visually you understand what each of those pages are at a glance, right? So that's just internally for you, no one else sees that name. This here is the domain. The domain here is all about connecting this page and having this page live on your website. So if you don't set this, it'll live on clickfunnels.com. You want it to live on your own website. So you'll see steps on how to do that inside the Answers Hub. Jump into the Answers Hub, which is answers.thedoingacademy.com. Whoa, that's done something weird this morning. It doesn't normally have that there. It's normally in the right-hand corner. I was just in here yesterday. Better fix that. Answers.thedoingacademy.com. Jump into there and search for subdomain. Subdomain, I just search for this word because there's only one option that comes up when you search for subdomain, and that's the one I want you to look at. If you haven't got the ability to choose your own website from here, it just means you haven't set it up yet. And you just have to do it once when you first join ClickFunnels. You just have to do this once and connect your website on the back end, just like it's a Cody kind of thing. Connect your website with ClickFunnels. So basically the ClickFunnels has permission to put the landing pages you're building on your own website domain, like your own URL, right? Rather than them putting it on the ClickFunnels one, your website gives permission and says, by doing this simple step that's here, it says, yeah, no worries, you can put the domain on, you can put the landing pages that Grace is building in ClickFunnels on gracelever.com or whatever your brand is. So you'll see steps in here on exactly how to do that. You can get, it's about a 2 or 3 hour job max. If your developer says you it takes longer, they're lying. So just send this through to them. And it's exact step by steps. Or if you want to use my developers, you can use them by, I've given you instructions on how to reach out to them as well. So that is what I'm looking at when I'm looking at the domain section. So the funnel step is just internal. The domain is making sure that you're putting it on your domain so that it doesn't have ClickFunnels in the link. And then finally, the last thing is the path. This is the path or the slug. This is basically the bit that comes after the .com or the .com.au or .co.uk or wherever you live, right? What comes after that? So it's like the / lead magnet or / sales page or / whatever. Keep in mind that in a URL, this is what your customers will see. So I try and make sure that this / whatever is always something that they would be okay with seeing. So it might be, design download rather than lead magnet because I feel like I'm selling them. Or instead of sales page, it could be called, book my consult or something like that. Or it could be mini masterclass, try and you can make it whatever you want, but try and make that link
okay for them to see themselves. Okay, so mini masterclass might be what I call this. Actually, I'll just think about kitchen inquiry, this particular funnel. Now, when I hit this link here, kitchen inquiry, I'm just going to open this up. Have a look at what happens. So you might not be able to see this because my screen text, I don't know why, is so small. But basically right now, this link that I just copied was the link that I copied from ClickFunnels here that I just built. I put it on register.leaddoingacademy.com/kitchen-inquiry. When I hit enter, the link is going to change. And it's actually changed to gracelever.clickfunnels.com/opt-in 13685522. Yuck. I always struggle with explaining this, but the reason for this is because I'm trying to make this as simple as I can possibly explain it. Bear with me. There, below here, you always see that you can set up split testing. The way that split testing works is that you can have one version, you can copy it and literally just change the headline or change the color and test things. The whole point is that you copy everything, change one thing and see which works best. And as a result, you can split test and figure out the best layout and look for your pop-up that converts the best. ClickFunnels, when you've got split tests, you can send people to this main URL up the top, and it will split them, and it will send 50% of people to this page and 50% of people to that page. Okay, so split testing is kind of cool. And this is why you'll see that the page diverts to this ugly opt-in version, right, of the URL. The problem is that a lot of the time we're not using split testing. I'm giving you templates that I've already tested and I know work, and you're not using split testing. So you've just got one page, right, that you want people to be directed to. So see how there's a cogwheel up here that we have to set? There's also a cogwheel down here beside edit page. Hit on that cogwheel. This is where it's got that ugly font, that ugly URL. So you do need to set this up as well. Kitchen-inquiry. Annoying thing is it has to be different from the top one. So I'll often call the top one whatever I want my URL to be, and I'll put a little 2 at the end of it. And I'll call the actual link down the bottom here just kitchen-inquiry. Cogwheel, register, kitchen-inquiry, kitchen-inquiry is a path, and update. Cool. So the best thing when you're testing these, when you're trying to get the final link for these pages, because with ClickFunnels you're allowed to do really cool split testing stuff. When you're not using split testing, you still have to set up the main URL that you could send people to, and then the actual end URL of the page that they're going to end up on. So this main URL, the most important thing is that when you're loading a page, make sure that you always click on the URL and open it up and copy the final version of that URL, because it will default, right? It'll send people, instead of the 2 version, it'll send people to the kitchen-inquiry, that one that you set up at the bottom. So that's why some people copy this link. This is the main link, but it always defaults and it always ends up directing people to one of your split tests, in this case, your only test. So I always make sure if you put this link in Facebook, Facebook's going to get really confused, or wherever you're sending people from, Facebook's going to get really confused. Always put this link here, like load the page and put the final loaded link into your funnel. So that's the way the ClickFunnels setup works. Make sure that you hook it up, ClickFunnels, so that it's allowed to put pages on your own domain rather than the ClickFunnels domain. And then just with each of your pages, make sure that you set both domains. The one up the top, which is kind of like the overarching link, and then the one in the edit section, like down here, in the split testing section. This will actually end up being your end URL. Once you're done, load the page and make sure you use the final fully loaded version of that link. That is your final landing page link. Hope
in our advanced workshop, because that's one of the problems that I see a lot of people experiencing. And And yeah, that just really helps with your tracking and your custom conversion pixels and things like that. So just keep that in mind. Okay, I hope that helps, Sylvania. And that kind of explains what the different parts of that page are. Okay, next question is from, oh, Melissa, you were just sending me your other landing pages. Let me just have a quick look at these other ones. Just going to quickly do some playing of this.
Hi there. Congratulations on downloading the 5 mistakes most business owners trying to grow.
Awesome.
Social media is so important when it comes to now you can.
So a couple of things here. With the video that you've got, it's portrait. All videos need to be landscape, right? So make sure that the video is landscape so that it just plays and looks a little bit better on the landing page, whether they're in desktop or mobile. So just refilm that video so that it's landscape. And then the other main thing is I can see kind of a little bit that you're reading. So maybe put the text, put the laptop or whatever you're using a little bit further behind the camera so that it doesn't look as obvious. Like if something's really close, if a piece of paper is really close to me, I'm tracking from here to here. Whereas if I put it further away from me, I'm just tracking from here to here. Does that make sense? So it might mean you have to wear contacts if you're like me and you can't see distances, but you just might need to move that away from you a bit more. Another thing with this video too, I want you to, early on, after you've said thanks so much, it's going to be in your inbox, which is exactly what I want you to say. I want you to just I want you to say your name in there straight after that and say, hey, I'm Melissa and I'm super excited to share a special opportunity with you. For those that want to, increase their Instagram reach or whatever you want to say there. Kind of just get them a little bit excited about something that you're about to explain to them before you launch into explaining it. Just so that they don't think that this is just a standard thank you video and they're like, oh, cool, yeah, I've got it, go on. They're like, oh, special opportunity. Hold on, yep, what were you talking about? Just kind of getting them a little bit more engaged there. Your header's really good up the top here, the way you've done your logo and your email us bit. Good job. Cool. So, so this page is looking good, but it's not quite, I think this page you've taken out a lot of the stuff at the bottom. The terms and conditions and the privacy policy aren't there, which legally they need to be. So just make sure you put those in. And then there was quite a lot of stuff below this as well that I can't see in there either. There was like testimonials, social proof, all of that kind of thing below. So just make sure that you add that back in because that's all there for a reason. The video itself might struggle to sell the product, but for the people that need a little bit more trust, they need to understand a little bit more about what they're getting and see that value. If you scroll down, if you scroll down and they're able to show them that social proof, show them a bit of what's going to be inside, the kinds of things that we're getting access to, just have a look at my template that I give you for that. The other thing too, and I've noticed this with a lot of people lately, the ClickFunnels affiliate button thing is in the bottom right-hand corner. I just reckon that looks a little bit, I know, I get a little bit concerned when I see that. I know what it is, but people that don't, it just feels a little bit, not spammy, but it makes me a little bit nervous seeing that. The way to remove that is you just go to Settings, General, and so get into the actual page, go to Settings, hit General, and hit Affiliate Badge, Hide. Okay, it's an affiliate badge. It means that you can put that on all of your pages and make money whenever anyone clicks on it and signs up with ClickFunnels. But I don't do that because that's not what I want them to do. I don't want there to be any distractions or anything taking away from the page. I want them to focus on what's on the page and the core focus that I want them to take, the core next step that I want them to take. So that's really easy to turn off on each of the pages. Just jump into each of those. It'll take you about a minute to turn that off on all the pages combined, not too long. Cool. Now, the next step here, we'll definitely need a video. I'm assuming you're putting a video on there. If you want to sell a coaching session, you want to put a video. And normally, I'm hoping you've got a nice, strong value ladder where you've got, ongoing coaching or consulting services or done-for-you programs, or you're charging hundreds or thousands of dollars for people to work more closely with you. As a result, I would make this coaching session free. I wouldn't call it a coaching session. I'd call it a like an Instagram, planning session or something like that. So I would have this offer be an opportunity. Like I'd either have it be another program or product, or in your case, it's going to be better if you turn this into a complementary discovery call kind of thing, where you can map out a strategy for their business, and then at the end of it, it's just a natural next step for them to pay you $500, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 to work with you to be able to apply that and take action on that. So a video explaining it, because if you're just relying on copy, there's not enough copy here on this page to be able to sell that. So a video on this page above the button, and I would make it complimentary and sell a higher ticket price product on that page. And then they go through to a calendar booking, which I'm guessing is pretty spot on. Let me just check. It's just loading. Cool. 9 a.m. First name, last name, email, Skype. Probably would add phone in there as well. Just put phone in your consult booking form and you'll be good to go. Just phone number. Otherwise, Lick and Hat, well done. So that's a you can book me form that she's put on her consult page, on her appointment page. So that's all looking good. Make those few tweaks. You've made a really good first start with that, but those few tweaks will ensure that you're actually converting in your funnel. And yeah, if I'd put that on and I'd try and get it so that, you know how on this page here, your offering is $37. No one will pay $37 if there's zero social proof or if there's not a really detailed breakdown of exactly what they're getting inside. So you need to expand on that page more like I do on my examples that I give you. But I would probably, if it were me, I would test that at $7 because I just want to know that it's not price that's the issue, right? So if no one wants to buy that at $7, it's a problem with the offer. It's not congruent. It's not an obvious next step for people, and we're not selling it well enough that they're building up the desire for it, right? So it's either something they don't actually want, or we're not explaining it properly if it is something they do want. We're not explaining it and selling it properly. So that means we have to work on the video a little bit more. We have to add more examples and more kind of flesh out what this actually long sales page looks like. I know it sounds a little bit techie, but if we're wanting to do pure online models like this self-liquidating funnel, you do have to kind of embrace this side because, yeah, if you want to remove the human element from it, we've got to be able to be really clever in the way that we do this online. Next question is from okay. I have several products that I could package up and sell. This is Veronica's question. She's got ready-made templates and kits. She's got a masterclass that she could run. She's got a webinar she could run. She's got training programs. They all have, she has all the pieces she needs for each of these to be able to make them evergreen and package them up better. Could you recommend in which order I should package these up? So if you're wanting to make it evergreen, like the biggest thing that I would be looking at is having a look at in the past what's been most successful, what's most popular, because the thing that's most popular, that's most familiar to people, that hits a pain point better for people will always end up being the thing that's easier to promote on Facebook, easier to get traction for. So I'd be looking at what the market has already told me they want more information on or is most important to them, whether it's your community leadership stuff, whether it's your advocacy or public policy, that kind of thing. So I'd be looking at that, and I'd also make sure that the one that I ended up choosing was generating the types of people that I wanted to end up working with. The types of people that I want to end up working with, think about that in your case, like community leader compared to public policy. Which one do you prefer as a client? The end result, what's coming out of that webinar and that evergreen funnel? Are they people that you enjoy working with? Are they people that you find easy to close and that they pay their bills on time, that you're able to have the biggest impact on? We want to get your ideal client, the people that have that kind of affinity with you, that you can help the most to end up coming out of the other end of that funnel. So have a think about how the front end piece pre-frames and pre-qualifies and creates your end ideal clients, because we want that to be considered as well. And then in terms of testing this, I'm assuming that you're wanting to do it online from what I'm seeing here. I would be doing a webinar in your case. If your product is going to be over $500, I would probably be looking at a webinar style and trying to drive traffic to a webinar, fill up a webinar and be able to give huge value, teach and educate on that webinar, and then encourage people to take the next step into your high-end programs, which could be online information products, it could be private coaching, it could be, high-ticket programs, whatever that looks like for you. That's the way that I'd be approaching that one. Probably a webinar. Just because too, if you haven't taken this model online yet, your webinar is going to give you a heap of feedback. People are going to be replying to all the emails that you send pre-webinar and even post-webinar. They're going to be asking questions, and there's going to be all sorts of things coming up on that. They're going to be raising objections after the webinar of things that they like and they don't like, or things that they're concerned about. And it's going to help you develop and refine your offer so much with the emails and the way that they respond to your webinar. Yeah, that's the way that I'd be approaching that one. Jackie. Yes, Leela, it's okay to submit a question. Yeah, that's the whole point of this session. So you just have to pop it in the chat box. I think you've got disconnected a few times, is what you're saying, and it is private, so I can see all of the questions. You can submit yours at any time, and I'll be able to see yours as well. Jackie's question, she submitted it through the portal. Hi, Jackie. Can't see it in that portal. Can't see it in that one. I'm just going to refresh just in case you just submitted it. And then I'll be able to check back in on Gentry because I know that yours wasn't appearing for me, Gentry. Jackie, got yours. Okay. Can I have some feedback on my lead magnet? I've created several other education-styled lead magnets on different topics, chronic pain, invisible illness, that kind of stuff. Do you think my lead magnet is too long or not visual enough? Definitely not too long. Image-wise, I would be swapping out the image at the top of each of the pages rather than having an identical image at the top of each. 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. Cool. And then the only thing coming out of this, are there any questions they could ask themselves? Because I'd like 1, 2, 3, your three things to be on a page of their own each. To flesh that out a bit and give a little bit more content, is there any way that the best thing with these downloadables is if they're kind of got a checklist element or a practical element or an action-taking element to them. People feel like they've actually got something that could almost, stand alone, that they would almost pay for. So are there any questions that you can ask at the end of point 1, where you can say, so, how does this apply to you? Or can you think of scenarios where bang, 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 right? I'm trying to think. Yours is a little bit of a harder one to apply. What's the end thing you're doing, Piers? Controlling your own health through other therapies. So are there little things or little techniques that they could use that you could illustrate that natural opiates that the body produces can actually have even more effective results on the body, right, than drugs and medication? I love what you're doing. I just want to apply it a bit more and give them a little bit more. Are there 3 little simple things that they could do or act on that could get just some little wins? It just continues to build their momentum and their confidence towards you. And if they can start to achieve little wins along the way, they're far more inclined to pay you for your product and service than people who are going in cold. So if we can do some little activities or do some little thought processes that they can work through, or some little suggestions or tips with little check boxes beside them, they'll feel like this is actually something tangible rather than just informational. Informative. Informational isn't a word. I hope that helps. Otherwise, the look and feels good. Just mix up that image on each of the pages. And let's try and make it a little bit more, not gamified, but just a little bit more engaging, practical, something like that. Grace. This is Grace in here. I think you put your last name in where your first name should be. So, Grace, you're wanting to build a website to a low-cost physical product and sell it online, but also sell it very much offline as well. Cool. I'm opting for WordPress with WooCommerce, not Shopify. Does that sound okay? Oh, now you've said you've got a different name. Now you've said your name is Lee. Sorry. The product guys on the ground, sleep it on, you may not wind up, and you put it in. 12 minutes giving over that. Cool. I just want to check for your intended copy for design. We don't go to that. We have some other outdoor products, prototype, Okay, I'm just looking to make sure I've got all of your questions. Cool. So, Lee, in your case, so if you want some help on crowdfunding for a physical product, jump into the Doing Academy group. There's a couple of girls in there who have done some fantastic crowdfunding campaigns. I've never done crowdfunding. I've always done kind of funnels on Facebook where they make money quite quickly. And that's my whole focus, is for them to generate their own income, so I don't have to rely on other people's money. So I've always focused on like just investing tiny little amounts, like a couple of $100 to be able to get results back, so then I can grow the business and have that return as short as possible so that I can actually fund it and keep sustaining the growth. However, I've got a few girls in the Doing Academy who have done great crowdfunding campaigns, and I believe one of them even has a training on how to do great crowdfunding campaigns. Check those girlies out. That's the best bit about being a part of this community. You get to learn from other people as well as me. Now, the other question here about wanting to build your website. I've just got such a... Shopify will just make your life ongoing so stress-free. I always see Shopify stores creating a more exceptional experience, creating less ongoing development, and just being more intuitive and more user-friendly from both the builder and the customer point of view. But there is no reason at the moment why I would pick anything other than Shopify to build a store on. Plus, on top of that, if you jump into the website and landing page module of the Doing Academy, honestly, jump into that part and have a look at the landing page section where I talk about the Shopify landing pages that you can use that work insanely well. Like if you're looking at some incredible top, 8-figure kind of e-commerce store, these guys are using these landing pages with huge success. So Shopify allows you not only to build an incredible store and checkout and cart experience, but sending people to Shopify from other platforms through a landing page also works incredibly well with this particular plugin that I absolutely love. And I've been seeing just some incredible results on those landing pages. It's relatively new still. So there's some big 8-figure companies that have been using it and getting incredible results, but then there's some smaller guys too that have been testing this out and getting better results in using that for their physical product business landing pages compared to ClickFunnels, because it's just so integrated and ingrained with the ClickFunnels, with the Shopify experience, that these particular landing pages work incredibly well. Check out landing pages under module 3, I believe it is, in website and landing pages, and have a look at how I do those there. I highly recommend investigating that further before making the decision to go with WordPress and WooCommerce. It'll cost a lot more, and I just visually just won't look as great as it could. And your question, is there a way I can get clients to complete my questionnaires online rather than downloading and printing it? Totally. Use Typeform. I mean, you could use SurveyMonkey, lets you do some really cool stuff, but I personally prefer Typeform. TYP type form. It's amazing. They can fill out their applications online. You can have it so that when they fill out their application, it tells the system that you're using for the email autoresponder. It tells your system. So you can, until they fill out their application form, they can be in an email nurture in your system that's telling them, hey, can you go fill out your application form? Hey, can you go fill out the application form? You know, in a nice way. We'll get so much more out of our time together if you fill out an application form, you know, or a questionnaire, whatever you want to call it. Get them to do that using Typeform. Now, Typeform's like great and probably all you're going to need. In the agency, when I was running my agency and I needed forms for onboarding, I used Typeform and SurveyMonkey for forms around questionnaires before they have consults or chats or those kinds of things, or quoting, things like that. But when I was doing my agency, I also had a really extensive onboarding process. So, for example, when I was building websites for people and they choose one of our high converting themes, and then I'd need to gather heaps of information from them to be able to build that first draft of the website, right? And same kind of thing if you're a financial planner, you need to capture heaps of information. Or if you're selling someone's home and you need to capture heaps of information. If you want people to be giving you lots of information on an onboarding process, I also really like Gravity Forms. Gravity Forms takes things to the next level and allows you to have crazy segmentation, like how many rooms does your bedroom have? And if there's like 3, then it brings up 3 options to say, please put in the size of your, you know what I mean? Put in the size of your bedroom, width, length, you know, it kind of lets you do really advanced long forms. I wouldn't make someone do that if I was trying to encourage them to take the next step and buy something from me. So I wouldn't send that to prospects, but I would send it to customers if I needed to get lots of information and I wanted to make it as simple and stress-free as possible for them to just submit it all, so that there wasn't heaps of back and forth on emailing. So on the front of the funnel, Typeform or SurveyMonkey. On the back end of the funnel, Gravity Forms does really advanced. But a lot of you, Typeform will be enough and it's really easy to use. But if you want something more, Gravity Forms is really good. So I used it in a way that they could you know, I'd have an arrow pointing to a screenshot of the website and say, what headline would you like here? And then there's a field for them to type their headline, or enter your color codes here, upload your logo here, and they click and upload their logo. Are there any associations or things that you're a part of? Enter that here. Please provide 3 written testimonials here. You know, all that kind of stuff. It just makes your life much easier. Hope that helps, Anne. That saved my life. I was talking to someone the other day who's starting to build like done-for-you marketing campaigns and websites and things for people, like Facebook ads and stuff like that. And I was just like, he's got to learn and do it himself and build his own forms and figure that out himself. But I was just like, I could automate that in like 5 seconds because I've spent all that time figuring that out myself. You normally learn because you don't have the forms and you end up spending your whole life on email going back and forth and having miscommunication and not being able to understand each other and ending up with a result that takes way longer than it should. So I learned the hard way, but yeah, hopefully that will speed up that process for you quite a bit. Okay, Tanya's question is, she wants me to look at her Facebook ad, and I'm going to do just that. Click to open it. Awesome. Is the photo okay that I'm using? Can you help me improve my opening line? Cool, let me have a quick look. Okay, the only thing with the, I think the image should be okay. I'm wondering if it's going to be too much skin. I feel like Facebook may reject it. You can always test it and find out, but I feel like Facebook may reject it for the skin. It's really cool. Is there a woman who doesn't have her tummy exposed? I know it's not like cleavage exposed, but they have a skin rule to make sure that photos aren't too in your face, and that may not make the skin rule. They're not super specific on, because you're allowed to put like, you know, a runner's legs in, but there are certain parts of skin that they'll often not let you expose, and a lot of things above the torso on a female, they will be cautious of. Now, the only other thing is your first line of will you have less income when your new baby arrives is asserting or implying something personally onto them, which is that's not going to work well. Facebook doesn't want you to make people feel crap about themselves. You're allowed to highlight pain points and problems that they might have, but you're not allowed to directly imply and assert that they have those. So you can't say, you know, are you broke? You've got to say, you've got to come at it from an angle that's more personalizing that rather than asserting that on them or implying something on them. So with something like, will you have less income when your new baby arrives? I would be doing, ever wonder, I would be like putting it onto someone else, something like, ever wonder how new mums continue to, you know, run the family household when income streams dry up? Question mark? Yes. You know, I'd get a little bit more creative in this kind of a space about the way that you're identifying the pain point. Just don't put it too personally on them. So that's kind of the way that I'd approach that one. Awesome. So I like pretty much everything about this. Is it too long? Don't think so, no. Don't think so. I'd give that one a roll and see how it goes. Awesome. Well done. You've used all of my strategies really well. And can you just make sure that you capitalize in your headline on your Facebook ad, capitalize the first letter of every word, not the full thing. Just most, capital M, new, capital N, mums, capital M, make, capital M, and capital A. Just do that for it's just read more. When you've got a headline. You can't do it to like a whole massive chunk of text because it's harder to read, but with a headline, that really helps. Well done. Good girl. I'm really impressed with the way that you've converted my training into your space. It's just that first question that I'd try and tweak that little bit, but that example should help. You're welcome, guys. Perfect. Good. Gentry, I've heard you mention lately about putting videos into Likeable Age Lady Nurtures. Does the video take the place of most of the written copy? No, it's additional. So keep the written copy and flow, but normally in 2 or 3 of my Likeable Lady emails, I'll try and put a video in. 1 or 2 will normally be testimonials. So I've got some social proof of other people who are like, this person or this brand are amazing and they've changed blah for me. And then usually 1 of them, I will have a video with me. So that and it's normally the welcome video. Well, no, I mix it up sometimes. The welcome email, the first one. But I mix it up sometimes, but I make sure there's a video of me so that they can engage with me as a person. Just because people are different types of communicators, right? Most need to see a video and a human to be able to personalize and build trust in an online environment. But regardless, some people are more audible kind of visual learners. Others are more written kind of communicators. So that just also helps with the different ways that people will communicate and connect with you as well. But mainly because emails with videos get clicked on a whole heap more than those that don't. But I don't usually put it in every single video. I'll just have it in every single email. I might have it in half of them, 2 or 3 out of the 5. The blue ticket domain. Melissa. Cool, awesome. Good, Melissa. I'm glad you've done that. I just saw your thing about the testing that you've already done, so I'm glad you've done all of that. That's really awesome. You should find that a lot quicker. How long should a webinar be? Jump into module 10, which is called Selling Courses Online, and do not Do not think that anything in that training or that presentation is an accident. I give you my entire presentation and exactly why I say things at certain points. Please don't ignore that. So how long should your webinar be, Victoria? It's 90 minutes. Sorry, Veronica. It's 90 minutes, but you're not allowed to start it until you've watched that full training and you follow my flow. Next question is for it is from Arlene. Have you compared Typeform and Jotform? Typeform and Jotform. Let me just have a quick look at Jotform. I've never seen Jotform, so the short answer is no. I'll just do a quick analysis so I can give you some idea of what I'm thinking. One second, color, whoops. Typeform. I think it has to do with the pricing, the main difference. Yeah, pricing's pretty similar. Just going to have a quick look at templates. Oh wow, you don't even have to properly log in to get in. Yes, no, Typeform is way better looking and way more mobile responsive. These ones are mobile responsive, but you'll find Typeform much prettier, in my opinion. Just looking at some of the themes that they're applying onto them and the templates that you can use. So price-wise, there's no real difference. But Jotform also seems to have a real focus around forms on pages, like contact us forms or things like that, whereas Typeform is more of a experience and a, yeah. So look and feel on Jotform just feel really kind of mid-2000s to me. Typeform, you'll see, are a lot more visually appealing, but Typeform, they both have free versions, so you can absolutely jump in and just check it out and see which one you prefer. Jotform have more of a focus towards online form capture, whereas Typeform are also letting you do things like surveys and more of that experience side too. So yeah, they both got a free trial. Have a look at both of them. They have slightly different pros and cons to each. Neither are down. The only thing that I'd look at probably with Jotform, I just always want to see what it integrates with. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Typeform letting you know, particularly when it's a free version, letting you know what people said so that you can update your system, because I just want to be able to update my autoresponder. How can I see what they integrate with? Logic, Yeah, they even let you like take money and all kinds of stuff on your Typeforms. Support, no, plugins. I'm trying to see like what they integrate with. I'll just Google it. Jotform integrations. There you go. And Typeform integrations. So Jotform integrates with, does it do MailChimp? Does MailChimp? It's got 3 stars for its MailChimp integration, but out of 5. But it does MailChimp integration. Does it do like Infusionsoft or anything like that? No. MailChimp, GetResponse. So it does a couple, and then it does Zapier. And Zapier lets you do everything else. Zapier is like a tool that lets you talk to basically any system. Typeform connects with only Zapier. So it looks like, and Zapier is still really easy to use. They got great training on this, and there's a free version of Zapier you can use to get Typeform to talk to your autoresponder. But Jotforms looks like they do have an out-of-the-box connection to talk to MailChimp directly from Jotform, which, you know, is definitely a bonus. It's definitely a pro. Next question is from darn it, I've closed it. So Dawn Caddy, C-A-D-Y, has just put in to whose was I looking at when I was talking through the way that you use your teaching people to look after their own health before turning directly to prescription drugs. That wasn't you, Veronica. Whoever that was, can you just type in this chat box so I can connect you guys? It wasn't Veronica. It was, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I was going through you've got the photo of the woman with her arms out on your lead magnet. Can you let me know who you are? Dawn Caddy would love to connect. She truly believes she's got the same vision. She'd like to shout out and see how they might be able to help each other. So Dawn Caddy, for whoever that was, jump into the Facebook group and search for her and see if you can connect privately with Dawn as well. Little hookup there. Awesome. You're welcome, Arlene. You're welcome, Veronica. Catherine, bit late to office hours. That's okay. I'm still here for the next little while. I have one question about the audience through the Facebook training you did on the weekend. Easy. Do you have different audiences on a campaign level? So you said, for example, lookalike, interests, etc. Yes, lookalikes is one type of audience, interest is another type of audience, and retargeting is another type of audience. So for those that weren't in the advanced training, this is advanced, so don't worry too much if it doesn't make any sense. But I want you to break down your campaigns into 3 lookalikes. A lookalike campaign, as well, first an interest campaign, then a retargeting campaign, then a lookalike campaign. You'll turn on your interest campaign first. Within your interests, you'll have ad sets with different audiences based on, based on like interest. You know how you just pick one interest and you just test it in each ad set. So in the interest campaign, one interest campaign, inside there you'll have multiple ad sets. You'll probably start by testing like 5 and you might end up testing 10 before you hit some really good winners. Depends on the industry and how well you know your market. Some people hit some great winners in the first couple of ad sets they turn on, so that's fine. So you'll have those ad sets there with different interest in each ad set. Then once you'll have that set up, you'll have a custom audience created so that you're generating an audience based on everyone that gets to this page and everyone that gets to that page. So go into custom audiences, create an audience based on traffic that gets to your landing page, a custom audience based on website traffic. One for everyone that gets to your landing page and one for everyone that gets to your next, actually gets through the funnel. We're going to end up creating lookalikes on those people once we get a good couple of 100, 200, 300, 400 people visiting those pages. So go and set up those audiences now so it's starting to track people that are going to those pages. So we've got our interest turned on. The next level down next campaign will be retargeting. Within the retargeting campaign, we'll probably end up creating 2 ads. One for people that saw this but didn't go on, and one for people that saw this but didn't go on, right? So we'll probably have 2 retargeting ads sitting in there in a different ad set. One ad set for retargeting for, visitors to landing page, and one for retargeting for visitors to stars page or whatever you want to have. So 2 ad sets with the 2 different types of retargeting places that people can drop out. And then your lookalike audiences, you'll be building some lookalikes. You might in there have an ad set so you have one campaign called lookalike. Within there, you might have an ad set where you're doing a lookalike based on your current email list, if you've got one, your current customers. You might have an ad set in there based on a lookalike of people that have got to here, or a lookalike of people that have got to here. So you'll see how I flesh those out a little bit more, but does that make more sense? I think that helps answer your question. Gentry, did you ever ask your question? And more importantly, did I ever answer it? For Gentry. I can't see it at a glance. I swear I saw it, but I'm just wondering if I answered it. Yes, I did. Good. Good. I hope that helps, Catherine. Well done. Happy doing. Next question is from Abby. So Abby is running, for the person who's transcribing this, it's A-B-B-I-E. So she's running a half-day workshop. She's just built a Facebook ad, and hasn't got any emails. She's watched my Facebook training, so she feels like it's aligning with what I recommend people put in their Facebook ads. And I've got a lot of experience in this because obviously I've run and sold out almost 100 face-to-face events. So she's wanting to also target small business owners, so she should be pretty aligned with the way that I teach. That's right, she's doing sales. I remember you, Abby. You teach people how to do sales without being over cliche or over salesy or anything like that. Cool. So, Abby, let me just have a quick look at the downloadable or the JPEG that you've attached. Oh, I've already given feedback on this. What's the date today? Yes, I've already gave feedback on this last week. Can you jump in and have a look at that, Abby? Maybe I just didn't close this. Abby's probably fine and she's gone and taken my feedback and she's moved on. Sorry, Abby, I did answer this question last week. Can you just jump in and have a look at that as well? Okay, next question is from Bonnie. Now, Bonnie's question, my Facebook, no, I've answered all of these. Definitely answered Bonnie's. Hold on, guys, I just haven't closed last week's questions. So I'm answering some of the questions from people that weren't able to join me live. Answered that. Answered that. Cool, I think I've answered pretty much all my questions. That's in most of these. Just looking to see if there's any new ones that I haven't answered. Here's one. Michelle, I think I've narrowed down my genius zone, but I still can't put my finger on what exactly it is I'm going to do. I feel like I'm going around in circles with all the ideas and I just can't settle on one. This is really hard for me to help with if that's all I've got. Have I got any strategies that help you with the idea? Okay, so coming up with an idea doesn't make you money. Anyone can come up with an idea, right? And we all know this, right? When we're starting to build a business, like the idea part isn't the hardest bit. The hardest bit is then figuring out how, well, not the most, the hardest and also the most important part is not necessarily the idea, but it's more around actually learning how to sell and communicate that idea with others. So what I want you to do is, because we can't spend too long running around in circles, at some point we've got to make a decision, because we do not make money until we've got an idea, and more than an idea, we've got an idea that we're actually selling, that's actually live. So I need you to get to that stage as quickly as possible without minimizing the need to have done a whole heap of market research, have validated your idea, be doing something you're really passionate at and really skilled in. So what I want you to do is pick your top 3 elements to that, and I want you to run 3 business models or business ideas that you've thought of. I want you to run a doer's validation checklist on each of those 3. It'll take you time. But if you've literally got multiple ideas and you can't settle on one, I want you to do a doer's validation checklist for your top 3. You'll find the doer's validation checklist inside the portal in module 2. So look in the Doing Academy portal in module 2. I know you're in the identity project. Pause on the identity project. The training doesn't disappear. You've got access to the identity project portal for life. So you've got lifetime access to that training. Don't even bother starting and going any further with the identity project until you've formulated and got the foundations and the validation you need for your idea and your business model. So pause on what you're doing in the identity project and jump into modules 1 and 2 of the Doing Academy. Sit in there, particularly the doer's validation checklist in module 2 until you're happy with what you've developed. Choose your final one based on your doer's validation checklist that you complete, and then you'll be able to jump back into the identity project and build that out. Okay, Loretta is wanting to attract one-on-one clients to go deeper with them in their meditation practice. Cool. So what I would like you to do is start by doing what you're saying, attracting one-on-one clients to go into the meditation space before you go and take this online. When you get to the online stage, I'd like you to look at Grace Smith online. So Grace Smith, just Google her. She has an online kind of meditation, hypnosis, mindset kind of program, which is a really good example of how you might be able to package up your own version in that space. But I want you to, before you even go to the online space, I need you to be able to build a really successful funnel in more of an offline space. And if you're saying filling up one-on-one consults, I really like that you're thinking that way, because I want you to get close to your market. I want you to get connected, particularly if you've only been doing this pure face-to-face in an offline environment. When you go into an online face-to-face environment, doing these online Skype calls or coaching sessions and things like that, there are differences to that you need to learn and experience. So it's kind of a good stepping stone between offline face-to-face human contact to one-on-one contact. You're then going to do this stepping stone where you take it online, one-on-one Skype kind of contact, and then the final step will be to take it online, one-to-many rather than one-on-one. One-to-many group programs, building up large communities. So if I were you, I'd be doing a consult funnel, and I'd be trying to get some private clients online to be able to make sure that you test and you apply all of the stuff you've been doing in an offline space. You're able to apply that online well, get incredible results, communicate that well, because it's quite different to communicating it offline when you start communicating that online. I hope that helps. Leela, I've got a question from you here. Do you want me to answer that? Because I don't think you've put your question in. Let me answer it. I can see your question in the portal. So Leela's question, I'm creating my emails. No, hold on. So Leela, I answered your first question, which I think I should have already deleted, but I just haven't, last week, which was about what e-commerce model you should choose. So check out the replay from last week to have a look at that one. Then in terms of this week, your question is, I'm creating emails. And I'll find it in here. Cool. Yeah. So in your case, I would focus, because you're in that more astrology space with your physical product. She's wondering whether with her physical product, because it's a thing that people can use as a gift, whether she should go after the more astrology side of the market, or whether she should go after more a generic gift giving side of the market. I go astrology. The gift market is huge. Just going gift is vague and it's competitive and it's saturated. Come in from the astrology point of view first. Let's get that funnel pumping and running first. So the way that we approach it is going to be for people that already have an interest and a passion for this specific type of gift or this specific niche. And I mean, I think you're selling a lot to mums and people in that mum space. Mums are always friends with other people who have babies or having birthdays with their kids, all that kind of stuff. So I definitely see it sitting in the mum space. Yeah, and there's no reason why you can't focus in that astrology part on the gift giving side of your product, but yeah, definitely niche it in on astrology rather than just broad gift space. I hope that makes sense. Because as you're saying in your stories, are you talking about, like in your Likeable Lady emails, are you focusing on pain points around buying gifts for people because you're going that more broad gift side, or are you focusing on pain points that are more specifically related to what your birth chart tells you and what your astrology charts tell you? And I don't think we should totally remove the gift giving element from your emails. We can pepper a sentence or two in there about and just remind them that these don't just have to be for you and your family. They can be given to others as gifts, but focus more in on the benefits and the value of the individual products in that astrology space rather than making it broad. Hope that helps. Cool. I think I've answered most of my questions. Yes. What's the date today? Have I answered that one? Yes, I've answered all of these. I've been such a good girl. Go me. We can finish 10 minutes early, girlies, because I've answered all of the questions. I hope that's been helpful, guys. I hope you've learned. I hope if you've stayed around for the whole session because you wanted to learn from other people's questions, I hope that's happened for you as well. I am going to let you roll and enjoy your evening or morning or very early morning if you're in the UK. And yeah, I'm in here next time as well, so feel free to pop anything in the portal in between, and I'll be able to answer it in our next live session as well. Or come join me live again if you want to get more out of this more human way of answering questions, and if you also want to learn and grow from other people's questions as well. Thanks for joining me, guys. Have an amazing week. I hope it's super productive. Remember, nothing in the portal is in there for an accident. So all the teachings, all the things that I'm putting in there are things that I've tried, things that I've applied, and things that I've learned and discovered along the way. So it'll make it a whole heap quicker and more successful when you listen and apply those as well into your business. Hope that helps. Talk to you soon. See you guys. Bye.